On this episode of Mad Ginger Customs, we're going to build ourselves a custom welding cart to hold 2 welders and a plasma cutter and 2 bottles. Not only that, we're going to do it with the cheapest, smallest welder you can get. Let's go! Hey guys, welcome back to Mad Ginger Customs. I'm Dave, and for those of you that follow me, know that I'm doing a chassis swap with an International pickup and a Mercury Grand Marquis. In the last episode, we're like, man, I really need to build a welding cart that holds my MIG, my TIG, and my plasma cutter. So this is what we're going to do in this episode. But we are going to do it with the cheapest, smallest welder you can buy. Here it is. Boom! This right here is the ARC130 by Arccaptain. This is an arc welder that will weld up to 1/8 rods. It literally weighs nothing. It is the size of my hand. I had this little bag from Arccaptain. Not related to this. Literally, this thing fits in here with everything. Rods, the whole 9 yards. You can pick this thing up and go. So, in this video, the only thing I can use for a welder is this. And if you guys that watch me know, I'm not much of a stick welder. Being honest, not good at it. TIG and MIG, yeah, I can get by with that, but stick, not good. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna use this machine to show you that if you've never welded before and you want an inexpensive machine, this might be the machine for you. This thing's gonna be on Kickstarter. I'm gonna say this a few times through the video because people like to skip. It's gonna be on Kickstarter, it's gonna start in March. I'm gonna have a link in the description. This thing retails at 99 bucks. And if you use my link and you get in early, you're going to save 30%. So honestly, for $70, you get yourself an arc welder. So let's build a welding cart. So here's what I'm thinking. This will be the bottom front, and one machine can sit here, and then we'll put another one, the longer one, so we can use it as a handle up here. And these will be the uprights. Kind of just using what I got left over. This is it's 1.66 OD. It's 1 1/4 inch just Schedule 40 pipe that you would buy at Home Depot. If you get a 1 3/4 inch die for one of these benders, it'll bend the 1.66. I mean, it's got a little deflection, but it's not terrible. So we're going to take one of these hoops and we're going to cut it off shorter, and we're going to put it on the back here, and that's going to be holding our bottles, and then the top one's going to hold the MIG and the plasma cutter, and then underneath it we'll put the TIG. So I'm just looking for this to be simple, and we're going to use those big dog wheels, these pneumatic tires right here, Harbor Freight Specials. But they'll roll around better than like these crappers do. So I'm hoping to just consolidate that stuff on these 2 carts. Here's this little thing running. It's not making the ticking, the heater's making the ticking. So fans on, it's like 75 amps. Show you how small this thing is in relation to my hand, it's tiny. Probably go even lower with it. We're just tacking up. So well, I'm using 6011 just to tack this thing together, and then we'll swap over to like some 7018. I'm not an arc welder, guys. You guys know that, MIG and TIG. But if I can do this, it should be pretty easy for you guys to do this, I would imagine. So same situation over here, right? So all we did was, we're just using this piece of C-channel to make sure it's square. So I want 19 inches between here and here, because one of those Arccaptain machines is about 18-ish. So I want to be able to slide it right onto here, have enough room, but I want to keep this as compact and squatty as I can. So let's fire this little hot rod back up. Maybe by the end of this, I'll learn how to do this, but who knows? Guys, the only way you learn something is by doing it. Don't be afraid. What's the worst case scenario? We'll cut this thing off, you know? We'll just cut it off. There's one. Guys, I'm pretty terrible at this. Pretty terrible. We're not looking for beauty. We're just tacking it up with what we got, right? So if you only had an arc welder, that's what we're using. By the end of this, I'm going to be good at it, I promise. Oh, boys, we're getting it. We're getting it, boys. Everybody who is like an arc welder is watching me and just cringing. They're like, Dave, you suck at this so bad. I'm aware. I think I gotta go with the back and forth and not the roundy round. That's not bad over there. That's pretty good. This little machine is working awesome. All right, you and I got a secret. This hoop was not wide enough. So we're just gonna weld it on the inside, and then we're gonna hammer it flat on the inside just to get enough to weld it. Shh, it's between us. You know, we're just poking around. We're just trying out a welder. There's no need for perfection. I mean, I'm getting there. It's getting better. Sort of. But, is it sticking? Hell yeah. That's a good bead, boys. That's what we like to see. Right to the nib. Telling you, by the end of this, I'm gonna know what I'm doing. Promise. All right, guys, the quick and dirty axle. Those are 5/8 wheels. So this is what we did. Just a simple little, you know, bar across. We'll get some washers and we'll weld one on each side on the inside so the wheels can't go all the way in. Pretty simple, right? So we're just gonna tack, 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 tack. It'll be, it's basically straight this way. Not that it has to be. It's gonna have swingy casters in the front. Pretty easy, guys. No problems. Guys, that's galvanized. You don't want to breathe it. I got my door open on the side, so we don't got to breathe that in. And then we're just going to weld the other sides and call it okay. This is going to be a spacer for the caster, right? Now, I'm smushing it kind of together close because the other welding carts have such a long wheelbase. So when you turn them, you got to turn them a lot. I'm hoping that this will be easier to maneuver side to side. If it's not, we'll just cut it off. But I think that that's my best bet. So that's what I'm doing. Just kind of put them where you think they go. You don't go crazy. You guys build welding carts for like 2 weeks straight. Don't care about it that much. It makes caster noises. Oh, it's mint. Look at this, guys. The MIG and the plasma cutter, and then we put the TIG underneath it, and we got room for activities. Hey, maybe we can put this little thing on there. I mean, you could put this thing probably in your pocket, but we could definitely make a little spot for it on this. Just took the old Harbor Freight Bauer shear, had some leftover 18 gauge, just kind of vice gripped it on, but this is kind of what I'm thinking. All right, so this is that bottom tray, and all we're gonna do is break the edge so we don't cut our fingers on it when we, if we go to pull it. So, this isn't precision work, guys. This is just a welding cart. I know guys are gonna be like, oh my God, you could have done that so much better. Yeah, of course we could have. We're not doing that though. All right, we went over 90, obviously for a reason, right? So that's gonna give us a nice round edge. And then we're just gonna trim it up. All right, guys, this is like the bottom part. I kind of slid it underneath. So all I did was take a piece of sheet metal, put it on the top, and then traced it with a marker, cut it out with the shear. You guys don't need a plasma cutter to do this kind of thing. You can use like an abrasive chop saw. You could use a 4.5 inch, you know, death wheel. You don't need even a shear to do this. You could buy a $20 4.5 inch angle grinder and this little tiny welder and do this entire job. There's no magic here. I'm trying to use just like basic tools that most people would have, not, you know, not using the plasma table. All right, guys, if you haven't seen this bead roller, this is like a cheap import bead roller, 18 inch throat or 16 inch throat. And we reinforced it and we added a winch motor to it. Did the controls and everything ourselves. I'll put a link in the description if you guys want to build something like this. It's actually really easy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this to add a little rigidity to all of those little shelves we made. So let's get after that. This works like a regular bead roller. You just basically crunch it down, but then I got my fancy pedal here, and we'll just see if we can't push them through. Now we're not looking for precision because no one's ever going to see this because it's underneath the welders. We could probably turn the speed up on the speed control. This is a pretty deep bead roll, right? So we're just going to X it up. It may shift a little bit, and it actually may oil can, doesn't matter. It's not like a panel for a car. You see how we have a little deflection here? We can straighten that right out. That's not an issue. Don't get your finger in here, you will destroy it. Right to the X, and that's it. So this is what we came up with, right? This makes this super strong compared to where it was, right? Because this is going to be welded around the perimeter. Well, no idea what I'm doing so far. I think what I'm going to do is just tack this where I can tack it. And then I'm going to take a piece, I have some 1.5, I'm going to make some like hooks with. And I think I'm going to put a piece of 1.5 right across the back of this and tack it all together. So we're gonna knock this down flat, and then we're gonna pin it down, and we're gonna tack it to the 1.5. Not bad. All right. Now, we're gonna line the front up and do the same thing. Just tacking it in the front. I don't want it in the back until I get the strap in. That's on. So we'll just play the tacky dance all the way around. This is like a flat bar, round bar bender that Jess and I built back in one of the other videos, I don't know. So I'm gonna make some hangers out of just some flat strap. This is 3/16. I mean, it's pretty thick, I think. Yeah. So anyway, we're just making like a loop with it. We're just gonna line it up and wrenchy wrench. Trying to make it flat. I already did one and I didn't have it flat and I ruined it because I'm kind of silly. Like that. I don't have a lot of room to work over here. Then back into the hook. Make sure it's flat. And that's what we're gonna do. Honestly, guys, I hate doing anything rushing, but I'm really rushing. This has to be done tonight. Probably won't get paint on. It is way too cold in here for that nonsense. But this is what we're using, this little jobby. Just show you so you don't think I'm pulling a bait and switch. So we just burn them on. All right, so we're gonna try to get some back bracing in for these bottles so I can push the bottles against and pull them in and then strap them around right here. And that's that. Now that's all in there. Okay, not bad. Well, guys, here it is. So, you know, did it work out the exact way I wanted it to? Does everything fit? Yes, it does. Am I a good stick welder? Absolutely not. Did I get better from the beginning to the end? Yes, I did. Learned a couple things. The little Arccaptain ARC130 did exactly what it was supposed to do. Guys, this thing's going to be a Kickstarter, so if you go to the link in my description, there's going to be the Kickstarter for this little ARC130. This thing lists at $99. And at $99, the thing's awesome. If you get in on the Kickstarter early, which I believe is the beginning of March 1st or something like that, it says it in the Kickstarter, you save 30%. So for 70 bucks, you can have this little machine. The leads are long enough. The thing never thermaled on me. I used it almost abusively, lengths of run, just kept going with it. The thing never even hiccuped. All right, guys. So this is the little 130 versus the MiG 200. This thing is literally the size of my hand. It weighs literally nothing. That's 2 fingers. You can pick it up with 1. Digital display, up and down on the amps, positive and negative. Nothing you don't need. And we got just enough room on this cart to put it away. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Mad Ginger Customs. Do the normal stuff, like, subscribe. If you want one of these ARC130s, hit the link, jump on the Kickstarter. Thing's dirt cheap, works awesome, weighs nothing. You throw it in a backpack if you never welded before. I'm about that level as far as stick welding goes. You guys watch me MIG and TIG and I get that, but I never stick welded. I never have done anything except in the few videos where I'm like, I gotta run a couple inches worth of weld. So a couple shout outs for the Buy Us a Coffee guys. Clint bought 3, Montgomery bought 6, Drag bought 3, Redhead Hemi bought 3, and Joe and Ginny bought 5. So you guys really support the channel. We appreciate it. Guys, don't forget about those Amazon links in the description. If you guys want a discount on all Arccaptain products, there's a discount code in the description as well. I'd like to thank Arccaptain for trusting me with this welder. I think I'm the only person they gave it to, so I could bring it to you guys because it's cheap, it's tiny, and it works. So we needed a welding cart, so we built one. And you guys watch me do it. And if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.